Chancellor of the Exchequer was too afraid to address the House to explain why the country's gone into recession. However, the Economic Secretary to the Treasury, Bim Afolami, I do apologise if I've just butchered that name, but he was there to try and defend the awful record. In doing so, he tried to claim that we should all be thankful because you're not as poor as you think you are. Yes, the economy's gone into recession, and yes, debt is 100% of GDP. But in real terms, inflation's come down, and so therefore you're getting richer. So have a listen to these clips, and let me know down in the comments, are you noticing a difference in your bank balance? Are you better off because of the Conservatives?
Mr. Speaker, the Chancellor should be here in Parliament explaining why Britain has fallen into recession. Can the Minister explain why he has been left to answer these questions, and where exactly is the Chancellor today? The Chancellor should be accountable to MPs and to our constituents and answer for his failure in this House. What an insult to all those people who go to work every day and experience the reality of 14 years of Conservative economic failure that he has simply failed to turn up. So let me ask the Minister, does he accept that the Prime Minister's promise to grow the economy is now in tatters? Will the Minister explain why the economy is now smaller than when the current Prime Minister entered 10 Downing Street? Does the Minister accept the misery that this government has caused homeowners with their kamikaze budget, leaving a typical family renewing their mortgage paying an additional £240 every single month? Now, the Chief Secretary is also notable for her absence today. Last seen refusing or simply failing to recognise that their target measure of debt as a share of GDP is rising, not falling. Following her rebuke this morning from the UK chair of the Statistics Authority about misleading the public, could the Minister inform the House if the Chief Secretary will again be relying on incompetence as her best defence?
Talk about the Chancellor. Well, I am the Economic Secretary. I'm perfectly entitled to answer on behalf of the department, and I will do so today. But the main thrust of her remarks was on growth, and let me deal with those in detail. The first point to recognise, Mr. Speaker, is indeed the international context that we all find ourselves in. Well, it happens to be true, Mr. Speaker. And, for example, to describe that international context, 10 EU countries were in recession in 2023.
I think we're not going to take lectures from a person about borrowing when it was 67% of GDP when we left office, and it's now nearly 100%. He's come in here and he's claiming somehow that growth is happening, but we're actually in a recession, which means that there's no growth. In fact, there's negative growth. And if you look, Mr. Speaker, GDP per capita fell in every quarter of last year, meaning that everybody is getting worse off under his appalling stewardship of the economy. Isn't it time that the minister, the junior minister, went back to his boss and told him it's all over, time's up, call the general election?
I thank the right honourable lady. But it is definitely above my pay grade to call elections. What I would say, in relation to the points that she says precisely, are the following. In relation to per capita GDP statistics, and that's an important statistic, because the point of that is to try and get a sense as to what's happening to individuals or individual households and families. What I would say to her is, I wish the Shadow Chancellor would allow me to respond, is real household incomes, which is as good a measure as any to see what is happening to individuals and families in our economy, is up 12% since 2010. If you're looking at people at the bottom of the income scale, since 2010, the rise in the national living wage that comes in April will mean that there'll be a rise of about 30% in real terms for people on full-time minimum wages. Those two statistics are examples of what's happening to real people on the ground.
The Government Minister says that the priority for the Government is backing British business, says it's cutting inflation, the priority being reducing the pressure on British families. Why then, when the government also admits this measure will increase inflation, when British business is tearing its hairs out at the chaos that's being caused by not knowing what the charge will be and who will pay it with less than 10 weeks to go, and British consumers will find it causes food shortages and an increase in food prices, why on earth is this government going ahead with the Brexit border tax? And will he here and now commit to cancelling it so that we can stop the inflationary measure? Yes or no?
I thank the Honourable Lady's focus on inflation. Indeed, she's right, inflation is absolutely critical, and bringing it down is an absolute focus for the government, and the House has heard her point in relation to the European Union, but what I would add is simply to say that we have a clear plan for bringing down inflation that we have carried out, that we'll continue to carry out, and she's got to ask her front bench why they don't have one.
It's not surprising that Jeremy Hunt didn't want to turn up, because last time he tried to defend the government's record, Darren Jones got him really rattled. And you can see him doing that in the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.